coming to join me. I was just saying I'm nervous and excited at the same time. And that's got to do with the fact that, one, I discussed this in the press report, that you trigger me in such a major way. And the only way I can explain is that you trigger me because you make me show up as all as I am. And that really is like, whoa, ripping all these boundaries I've put around myself to protect my heart for so long. But, and this is what I want to tell people, embrace those triggers and run to them, because that's where your growth is. And now my heart is opened in such a big way. And I want to say thank you, because everything that you give me as my mentor has shifted, not even like my business life, my professional life, my relationships. And thank you. In
You're
all
so
honesty, thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you. I had to laugh when you reached out to me and you asked me if I would do this with you, and you said to me that you didn't really take to me at the start. You said something. Rochelle was telling you something about me. You're like, I don't really see what it is about this woman. Oh, I thought it was hilarious.
Because, and that's something I want to talk about with you, is that I've always embraced masculine energy, go, 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 go. And you're so in the feminine and the flow. Like you do both, but you really just embrace, like, as you say, your womb space. And I really haven't done that until I had my child, where you're forced to do that. And that's why I had so much hesitation to. And that's why you glow and radiate.
Thanks.
Launch straight into this. So I've told you already, and it's my big question I asked everybody: what's the biggest obstacle in your life, and how have you overcome it?
I was thinking about this. I just want to check you can hear me okay, because my headphones aren't very good on my end. Yeah, okay. All right, perfect. So I was thinking about this question, and for me, the biggest obstacle has been self-doubt. Yeah, and my headphones are being painful. I can't hear you. Give me a sec. Hang on. I'm going to take this out and see if it works. Hold on. No, it's not going to work, is it? Can you hear me? You're stuck to me. I can't hear you. How's that? I can't hear you at all. Yeah?
No. Can you hear the static?
No, but I can hear
Okay.
you.
I can. All right, you can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. So you said self-doubt.
Yeah, self-doubt. And can we just check in? Hello to the people coming on. Can we
Yes,
just check that
please.
you can hear okay? That it's all right? Because I haven't got the funny sound, but I had it before. So,
All right. I will see. I'm waiting for it to come through. Do you get the comments as well? I'm glad you're
can't.
so good at interacting. I jump into it. And I just jump into it and always like in my own little world.
So good. I can't see comments.
Okay. All right. Yes, I
I think
can
we're
hear
just
you. Thank you, Fiona. You're on it. Thank you, Fiona.
Thank
Perfect.
you. All right, amazing. Yeah, so self-doubt for me. I was like, what are the things I've overcome in my life, and what are the biggest obstacles? And there's so many. And the key one for me has been self-doubt, because in overcoming that, it's opened up so many doorways for me. It's allowed me to step into the truth of who I am. It's allowed me to have a voice. It's allowed me to be the biggest, best version of myself. It's allowed me to create the money that I desired. It's allowed me to do so many different things in my life by overcoming that. It's not even overcoming, it's shifting through that to tap into who I truly am as a human. And that has been my biggest obstacle.
God, I love you. You talk so fast. I love it. It's like my sister. Process, process, process. You can't slow down. I'm glad you share that, because with me, particularly, I always suffer with that. And what was happening was, big value of mine is integrity. And and I show integrity to everyone else, but when the self-doubt comes up, I actually don't show integrity to myself. And what I'm hearing with you is that really that's about you too, is that integrity of honoring who you are and the wishes and desires, and sidestepping that, and your life is taken off in such an astronomical way.
100%.
Yeah. All right, so let's launch into this. So I know one of the thing about you is about, and I agree with this, is about having, as women, we really need to have our heart space and now, like, not worry about our head, but it's about having our head, heart, and womb aligned. And for me, I'd love for you, and I suspect there's people on here that want to listen to this too, I'd love for you to elaborate on that.
It's my favorite. So for me, along my journey, what I learned was that when we're stuck in the head, we're not able to access the heart, we're not able to access the womb. And the heart's where we speak our truth. It's where we ask for what we desire. It's where we have our clear defined boundaries. It's where we can have beautiful relationships from the heart, not the head. And not in the mess of the head. The head's amazing, like the thought process is amazing, and we can get stuck in there as well. So when we're able to shift through the thoughts and recognize that we're not just our mind, that we're so much more than that, then we're able to deep dive into the heart. And from there, once we're able to access the heart, I found that we can then open up to the womb, which is our creation space. It's where we manifest. It's where we call in the things that we desire. It's our power center as women. So for me, it's been a journey, and I teach this as well, from head, heart to womb space. It's been a journey and an evolution of shifting through, and then the beautiful dance of, moving between all of the areas.
I love that. I was saying, and I said this when I reached out to you, is that I've been reading the book called Pussy, and I absolutely love it. And she's really about, like, and I love this term, and then if anybody gets offended by it, it's a trigger to them, is that naming our vagina in such a delicate way, and that we as women really have to own that. And what I find really fascinating, and I know you've got a boy that's older than mine, but my son is 22 months, is that he embraces his genitals. No worries, grabs them, plays with them, does whatever he wants with them. But we as women, like, don't have that connection because it's internal, but we really do need to have that connection, because our biggest triumphs come in life from, not like you're saying, not just the head, the heart. And well, I love saying it, is the pussy. I'm just thinking, and it's making me, what I really think is excited about this is that for so long I used to embrace that term as a child, as a teenager, and I know my mum used to be really offended by what I said, and other people do, but we as women really need to do that. And I know one of your big things in life is about helping particularly younger women, isn't it, in regards of how they think about and how they navigate the world. Isn't that right?
It's all women. So I believe our young girls need to know this, and I predominantly work with women, not young girls. It's an area that I'm going into. I feel like it's just important for us to know what it looks like what our pussy looks like. It's important to know. I always thought it was a vagina, and when I read that book, which is here on my bookshelf somewhere, I don't know where it is. I've got there, right there, actually. It's just,
love it.
Hang on. Code red, and then.
Oh, there you go. They're the books we need.
Yeah, beautiful. So, like, when I read this book, this was my first book to open up to my pussy. And I remember my girlfriend, she was reading it, and she's like, I'm reading this book at the moment, and it's called Pussy. I'm like, it's called what? She's like, I'm like, what? And it was like this such taboo word, right? And so then for me, I found that when I got the book as well, I was kind of like, avoiding the word and avoiding saying it. And now it's just like natural. And I think, like, what I got from that book was the beginning of the opening up for me to tap into the womb space. And what I love about Regina and what she talks about is she gets you to have a look at, what does your pussy actually look like? The vagina is the internal part. We have multiple parts that make up the pussy. Some women use different language for it, and whatever feels good for you is perfect. And I just love how she references it. So my favoriteest book of all time, which was really pivotal in my life, and all of my clients, this book is recommended to every single one of them. It's kind of a non-negotiable now with my clients, is Code Red. And that taught me so many things about understanding myself as a woman, understanding the feminine energy, understanding the masculine energy, really deep diving into my cycle, understanding that we experience 4 seasons in 1 month, understanding how the moons affect us, understanding that when we honor the feminine and the masculine energy in a month, that we can open up to so much more possibility. So much more possibility, from deeper relationships to more intimate sex, to asking for what we desire, to being like, when we're in that masculine flow, it's when we're like, go, we've got that go energy. It's the natural part of us. So really, having our diaries set around taking action in a couple of weeks of the month in that masculine flow. When we can do that, then we're able to get more done effectively. If we're attempting to do that when we're in the feminine part of our cycle, it's like we allow ourselves to go into spaces of anxiety or depression or overwhelm or exhaustion. So really understanding how our bodies work has been a pivotal part of my journey, and one of my favoriteest topics ever.
I love it. And I'm like, whoa, I've got to get this book, because for so long, like I was just talking about that stigma, is that because I didn't know my body, I compressed it and wondered why my body's retaliating back. And what I'm hearing is that when you're in sync with your body and you know it and love it and cherish it, life just flows the way you want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. I know. I just read that. That's like, watch out, husband. I'm going to get that book. And which I think it would make my relationship better, because I wasn't aware of the cycles, and it makes sense as you say it now, listening to like the moon cycle. We're affected by moon because you think the tide, and we're 75% water. Our body's going to be a reflection of that. But also my husband always told me there's different facets of my personality that he sees at different stages.
Yeah.
And I think it's really got to do with what you're sharing here. And I know Fiona just said, oh my God, I need this book too.
Yeah, highly recommended. I think you can go to her website. Lisa Lister is her name, Lister. And I've only it's only on Amazon, and I don't even know if it's a hard copy you can get anymore. You'll have to check it out. See for yourself, but phenomenal.
I love it. Now, there's something else I wanted to talk about, which I know for so long I sort of tried to conform to this, that we don't have to be a part of the pack. You know, like we all think, and I stalked you on social media, and I'm glad that I did, because it gets me to have a great insight. So I highly recommend anybody go and stalk Ali Mae. But you talk about the fact that we all, that we don't have to fit into the pack. Like, and I always tried to conform myself into these boxes of thinking. And I know you talked about how you're in the corporate world and you never went up there, and you had to find the understanding of that you're not a part of the pack, you actually have your own pack.
What's your question, Beauty?
My question is, so how did you navigate that? I love that. How did you go about navigating that? Was it an experience of falling into that, or you just even creating your own pack? Because I know you had, like, I'm a part of the pack, even though there was resistance to me being in the pack, and now I'm grateful I am. But how did you go about navigating your own pack, really, or creating?
Yeah, good question. So for me, I love, I know the video you're talking about. I was talking about pack mentality. And I find there's so much with this question for me, like in just understanding the pack. So from a pack perspective, for me, I'd say community or tribe. Like when we're talking about so part of our online community, online tribe, also, I have so many facets of my business that are external to our online platform. And for me, it's what I've come to learn is that community can be so beautiful. And when we're following the pack, and I say pack, they're two different things to me. So the pack for me is when you have an alpha, when you have a leader, and that person's doing their thing, and it's like everybody's opinion forms around that. And it's like the alpha has the say in how things are. And then the pack mentality comes, if you're different to me, if you have a different opinion, if you think different, then I'm going to ostracize you. The rest of the pack's going to do the same, and you're going to feel like crap. And so I see that time and time again. I've seen that working in corporate. I never fit in. And I didn't fit into the pack. I didn't fit into that because there was so much judgment there. It was like the leadership said what you had to do, and then the next people would follow, and then the next people would follow. And then if you didn't conform to that, you weren't a part of it. And so then that's where the ostracizing happens. For me, the pack is not where I want to play. It's not where I choose to play. I choose to play in community. And with community is where we each get to show up as our own individual selves. There might be someone who's ahead of where somebody else is at. It doesn't mean that they're the be all and end all though. It's like everybody's a leader in their own right, regardless of a level that you're at. And I think when we can strip back the labels of where somebody's at and see each person as an individual and celebrate the individuality and celebrate the uniqueness and honor the differences without telling people how they should be, That to me is much more beautiful, being a part of that, than being a part of a hierarchy of how things should be done.
That's really powerful. And it makes me, and I know this is one of the things I said when I reached out to you, is that when I was at university becoming a teacher, they talked about scaffolding, and that your job as a teacher is to build the scaffolding up around an individual that you're teaching, and then delicately take that scaffolding away, that they navigate life on their own. And you do that beautifully, because I know that I'm a part of it. I love it, the tribe that you are, your soul tribe. I'm in there and doing that. How did you come to the understanding of creating that organically yourself? Is it from the experiences of being in the corporate world and you didn't like what they were doing, or is it because you just had this divine inspirational thought that told you this is the way it should be?
Oh, wow. I was a lone wolf my whole life up until this year. And there's been a few key pieces this year that have allowed me. So it's been a journey. We all have a journey, right? It's not just, oh, this happens and then it's like that changes the whole world. It's like every little bit interlinks. And some pivotal moments for me this year allowed me to really open my heart enough to let people in a different way than I'd ever done before. And so from that point, I was able to then see the beauty of tribe and community. So, 2 years ago, with what I'd created, I didn't have the feeling within me of being a part of community. I was creating it, but there was a disconnect for me. And what I've come to learn now is that there's power in community. There's power in people banding together. There's a lot that can be created with people co-creating, collaborating, connecting, working alongside each other, not above each other or below each other. And that for me has been a big evolution for me to open my heart enough to want to be in that space, because I'd lived my life in such a way where I didn't fit in and I made sure I didn't fit in. So it was like, it's a bit of a funny one. What I mean there is that I never really fit in my environments, and then every other environment I would go into, I made sure I didn't fit in by my behaviors, by my actions. And I never saw that until this year. I never realized that I was feeding into that belief that I had. There is genuine times in my life where people were not very nice in environments. And then I believe that I created more of that in my life. I created, because we're the creators of our reality, right? So I created spaces where I didn't fit in, or I didn't think I fit in. I created spaces where I made myself sit back and not be a part of things. And it was just it was a constant loop for me. And this year I was able to shift through that and really embrace being a part of a community. And I desire now to spread the joy of community. I desire to have people know that, the desire's been the same, it's just a different heart opening now. But the desire for people to know that they belong. Belonging is one of our core values. Like we just want to belong. And yeah, I feel like I've healed my heart enough to actually be able to hold space for other people now to feel that they too belong.
Wow, I love that, because one, I can really resonate with what you're saying too. It's interesting you say that. I always went into places not understanding why things were going on, but I'm also creating the reality of what's going on. And it makes me think of, I know, and I heard you talk about this yesterday with Dr. Joe Dispenza's work, and he talks about our body's addiction to certain responses to the environment. We're addicted to this way of how we're going to be, and it's actually a really big thing to shift and change. Like, because someone else has brought this to my attention, like we're addicted to drama, or we're addicted to anger, or we're addicted to feeling this way. And so what I'm really saying is, what happened to you to make you realize that you were like this? Was it something that, I hate to put the analogy because I know you're so particular and pedantic about your words, and I love hearing you for that reason, because you just use desire. Like, I love that you use. But what I'll come back to my point is that, was there something that abruptly made you pay attention to how you were navigating the world, or was it subtle, like somebody told me, like subtle feather hints that were saying it, or was it abrupt?
As in going from lone wolf to then embracing community?
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's interconnecting, and there was a pivotal moment. So earlier this year, I took part in a course called Bridge and Bridge Extreme. And through how I entered the space, it was 2 weekends in a row, through how I came into the space, I didn't really want to play in the space. Like I was in my own world. I wasn't really interested in what anybody else was doing. I came in that, not realizing at the time I was in full victim state, full victim. And it was just, for me, it was that I'm in my space. And that's how I'd played my life, right? So by going into the space, by me having that and having that for myself, automatically put me on the outside. Because that bridge, there's nowhere you can hide with anything. So there was judgment passed. Oh, you're not showing your heart. Oh, you're not being a part of it. Oh, you're this, you're that. Like there was so much judgment because we, like the way that it set out, I got to hear people's thoughts on how I was as a person. And it was really interesting to see other people's take. What I ended up taking from that for myself was that by me coming into that environment, by being shut off to everybody else, meant that I didn't have to play with everybody else. It gave other people an opinion of me, and it allowed me to feed into my belief that I never fit in.
Yeah.
That had been played out time and time and time again. So whether it's happening before we enter a space or whether we're creating it in the space, I know it's a bit of a blurred line there for how it happens. So going through bridge, it's around the ego. It's around seeing things that you're not able to see. And I was able to see that pattern. I was able to see how I've done that so many times in my life by going into spaces, by keeping my heart safe, by people not having, the easiest thing for me to do to not have people pass judgment is to stay in my own space. But they have judgment anyway because of how they think I'm not behaving or how they think I am behaving. So regardless, it doesn't matter. And what I took out of that was just do you. Like, just be you anyway. If you don't want to be a part of it, own that. Whereas I was in victim of that. If you want to be a part of it, be a part of it. But for me, there was a pivotal moment in there for me to go, wow, I see the behavior I've been playing out my whole entire life. And it will be from circumstances. Behaviors are created from circumstances. They are safety mechanisms. And for me, that was a safety mechanism, to not have to open my heart to other people, for people to not see the truth of me, because so many times in my life I'd felt rejected. So many times I'd been in situations where I felt like I didn't belong. And so the habit got built for me to protect the heart, which I couldn't see. To protect the heart was to just stay away from everyone else. And so that was really a catalyst, a key piece for me to go, like I see that now. And then we have choices, right? So what are my choices? Keep playing that way or do something different. And then the people I started associating with were all about tribe and community. I had a massive tribe and community. It allowed me to open to that tribe and community in a different way. And you'll see from when you got started in our online tribe, you'll see a difference in me for how I am as a human to how I am now. And I've just embraced the importance of tribe and community, because so many people feel like they are alone, and I was one of those people. So many people feel like they do not belong, and whether they're creating it, well, they are. We all create it. So whether, like, for whatever reason that is, we create these worlds within ourselves, and then that reflects in the external world. And I guess I was just done with that. I kind of just opened the heart a little bit and took a step to see what would happen. And then I opened my heart a little bit more, and now I'm just like fully passionate about having community and tribe and calling in people so they know that they don't have to be alone. So they know that there's nothing wrong with them. So they know that they are supported and loved. Because when we have that, there's less suicide, depression, anxiety. When we have that tribe, when we have that feeling of belonging, we have something in life. It's not about, like, money's awesome. I love money. And I believe, go make millions. Like, go do it. You can do a lot with money. And houses, and if you want beautiful houses and beautiful cars, and if you love stuff, own that. And that doesn't always make us happy first. It's the inner stuff that makes us happy first, and then the external stuff becomes a joy. And I think when people have a space to connect in with other people, to really begin to understand who they are, to really begin to understand that they do belong somewhere, then it opens up. It's like what you said to me, what have I overcome? It's the self-doubt. Self-doubt starts to dissipate when somebody sees us for who we truly are. When somebody sees that we are not who we've thought we are. When somebody takes the time to acknowledge us and honor us for the individual person we are, not who we've constructed that we are, not from our behaviors, not from our mechanisms to stay safe, then that opens something within us. And I think for me, part of my mission on this planet is that people feel like they belong. So to me, it was that moment of, and it's been building and building and building. That was just a key moment to crack it open a bit more. It's like, now that's just in my mission and vision. Now that's just in the bigger work that I'm doing.
Wow. And I can, like, it's coming across. I love it. I absolutely love it. I can feel it and change it. And like I said, and I've said this to you, I've known you for 4 months, over 4 months now, and the transformation that I've seen in the 4 months is mind blowing. It absolutely is. And it's awe inspiring. And you make me think of right now, and you probably know about this research and addiction. And they've, with the mice, have you ever heard about with the rats, the cocaine addicted rats, and that they would, and if nobody's heard this before, it's about these rats that were addicted to cocaine laced water, and they were in isolation. But then when they were put in a community with other rats that they could play, and they still had access to the cocaine, they didn't want it. And that's why 12-step programs work so well, is because it's not about, well, there is also a connection to divine, but it's about the fact that that community, that connection, I see you. And that's what I think you do really well, Ali Mae, is that you see people for what they are. And in doing that, they open their hearts and they accept who they are. So there's this internal process of, and it's magnificent. And I love the things. It's mind blowing, because we're all running away from us. We are, and that's could be a result of our childhood. It could also be the media's agenda of us wanting us to consume. Like, there's so many facets that come in, but you see people, you see them, and you let them own them, and that's really powerful. And I suspect, like you're just sharing right now, and how do you do that? Because that's something else. I'm being selfish, and I want to know how you do it. How do you just come in all of you, and your energy just conveys beautifully across to everybody? Is there a routine you do it every day? Is it a life, events of life of where you just shared how, you had to keep reflecting and working on yourself and pulling those layers that wrap you around? How do you just be you?
Ooh. I actually am really proud of the person I am. I actually have a lot of love for myself in who I am, and that's been a dedication for the last 14 years to be that way. And it's only in the last few years where I've been able to fully embrace who I am and honor me in all ways. Like, so I feel like there's no quick answer here. My journey has been very colorful. The things that have happened throughout my life have, I think through my journey, it's allowed me to see people more for who they are, not for what they do. And through that, I think I'm just gifted in this sense. I think it's one of my gifts that I don't see color. Like, I had a friend, and she was Aboriginal. And one of my other friends said to me, "Oh, I didn't know that Evie was Indigenous." I said, "She's not." She goes, "Yeah, she is." I'm like, "No, she's not." Like, I didn't see it. I don't see the weight of people. I don't see, like, unless it's brought to my attention, I don't see, I don't even know what race people are most of the time. It's like, I have this gift to see beyond that. And I just believe it's a gift. I believe, like, the gift alongside the journey really does allow me to see individuals for who they are, for their soul. I can see your soul. I don't see what you've done, where you've come from. I see who you are. And every person is fighting a battle we know nothing about. Every single person. And for me, it's like, if we go extreme here, if you murder someone and you're the person who's murdered, then and I just go extreme here to make a point. For me, I would treat the two of you the same. And that's caused controversy on my page before, because my first thing is, why did that person do that in the first place? What happened with that child? What happened with that little boy or that little girl that did that action? Like, man, it makes me want to hug them a little bit more, And then obviously there's the other side of things as well, to go like, that's really unfortunate. That's really like not a cool thing that's happened. I'm not one to pass a judgment on someone's actions. I'm curious about why people take their actions. And I believe that everybody's just got their little boy and their little girl inside that is crying out for attention or love or understanding or belonging. And I just do my best to ensure that every person I come into contact with feels really good about themselves. And that's just a natural thing within me. It's not I don't try to do that. And when I say I do my best, it's just like, that's how I desire people to feel in the world. So that's who I am. I guess. Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting question. I've never been asked that before. I think it's just who I am
Yeah.
as a human through my experiences, and yeah.
I think it's really powerful, and I love it. Also, too, I like the fact that you resonated on that. Like you accept you as well. Like I love it. It's a divine gift, but it's also about you. Like I believe that self love. If everybody had self love, and that's what my mission is, particularly mums, because I wasn't in a point after my son was born that I was showing self love. But if we all have that love of accepting who we are, you know, life, there wouldn't be any actually the pain and destruction that's in the world. And I love that you talked about inner child, because everybody's suffering. They might have a facade. And I think that's the only issue with social media, is because social media puts up a front. This is the best version of me. This is what I am. But you don't see the 80% of the chaos that's going behind those pictures.
Yeah, and I think I don't think everybody's stuck in it. Like for me,
Yeah.
I can say that it's my life's work, right? To not be stuck in my emotion. So I may have things going on in my life, and things can be most areas for what I've created in my life, for what control I have over the things in my life. There's flow. And then sometimes things will come in and they're a bit of a sideswipe and they're not in my control. It might be a behavior of somebody else that triggers something within me. It could be like parenting for me. It's like, it's a big gig right now, and things that have gone on, like it's been a new navigation for me. So there's been different emotions, and it's like, I used to feel like I was falling apart with things in my life. And now that doesn't happen. It's like, it's a curiosity. It's a, how do I shift through this? Why is this coming up? What do I get to learn from this? I question a lot. And it's like, how does this feel to me? What can I take from this and move forward with? So I don't think everybody is I think most people, I may have said everyone before, most people are fighting a battle we know nothing about.
Yeah.
And I still have things in my life that come up. It's just most people buy into the emotion and the trauma and then the drama of things. Like you said, most people are addicted to drama. I agree with that. When we can shift out of the head, this is the point, right? When we shift out of the head, it's the head that can catch us up, and the thought processes and all of that. When we can shift out of there and tap into the heart, it's like, we're not buying into the thought processes anymore. We're not stuck in the thoughts. We can actually feel more. We can actually detach from the thought processes and feel what's going on. And by tapping into that more, I believe it opens up more for us. So yeah, I think social media, I just fill my pages with people that I love. Yeah. So I'm not seeing shit. And I'm very well aware that we see 1% out of somebody's life. And I think that's okay. Like, why not see the best part of somebody's life? And when we're kind to others, when we're kind to ourselves, the happier people are.
It's true. I want to jump on something you mentioned before about control. Like, and that's something I had to surrender with a young child. Like, I thought I controlled the world, but really I don't. And now I have to throw my hands up. But you mentioned there's things that you can control. What are the things that you are aware of that you can control, and the things that you just go, okay, I'll just go with the flow of life?
My feelings, I can control.
Yeah.
My emotions, my thought processes, how I show up in the world, how I treat others. They're the things I can control. The person I am, they're the things that I can control. What I can't control is everything else, because life is ever evolving. Things happen in life that are out of our control. It's been a big one for me this year to release a lot of control. And I didn't think I was controlling, and it turns out I really was, with some things. So yeah, that's the only things I think we have control of. And I see so many people trip themselves up in life because things have to be done a certain way, or it has to be done a certain time, or it's got to be this way, or the whole world falls apart. And it's like, when we can have the flexibility and the fluidity to know that we are in control of nothing except for ourselves, then I feel like we can let go of a lot of stress, a lot of drama, a lot of problems in the world, and we get to have a bit more fun.
Yeah, that's really good that you bring that attention, because I had somebody else that brought it to me articulating it's about the feminine. The flow and going with everything is about being in the feminine and the divine. And I wasn't having any fun with my son. Does that make sense? And that's what kids do, especially at that age. They're just in it and they're having fun. But I was, like you said, oh, I've got to get this done. This is my, that, this, that. But I wasn't enjoying it. And then I suspect a lot of your success, this is the question really, comes from the fact that you enjoy life, like you enjoy it.
I love life, and I have a value for my life now. I never had a value before. I would do things in my life where, like, I would jump on the back of a motorbike with my partner in shorts, a singlet, and thongs. No way would I do that now, because I value my safety and I value my life. I won't put myself into a space now, and it's not that I'm not open and adventurous, because I love adventure. It's just I think now before I act, because I'm not in control of when my time's up. I'm not in control if an accident does happen, but I can take risk out of my life in certain ways by being a little more thoughtful and honoring of self. So for me, it's like I fully honor and love myself. So I'm only going to put myself into positions, and then whatever else happens around me is what happens. This is where letting go of control is. But I'm only going to consciously put myself in positions where I know that I'm not going to damage myself, not on my own terms. Whatever universe has in store for me, so be that. Yeah, it's been really important for me. Like, I genuinely embody, I am my temple, what I put in my body. And I don't eat like people think I eat like a vegetarian or a vegan. I'm like, I eat whatever I feel like. And I honor my body in that. I don't beat myself up with that. If I want a whole pizza, I'll eat a whole pizza. If I want vegetables, I'll eat that, whatever it is. But I know what's going into my body, and I'm conscious of that. And I'm conscious of the thoughts around that. And I know how I play, and I know how I show up, and I know the thoughts that go in my mind. And I choose not to watch television, and I choose not to buy into other people's bullshit. You know, like I'm very particular, because this is my temple, and this is important to me. And my vibration is important to me. My energy is important to me. My happiness is important to me. Loving self is important to me. Feeling good, doing things that light me up, having time for self, making money, kindness to self, all of that's really important to me. Key values.
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. I love the fact that I'm choosing, because I know, well, I'm coming from a woman's perspective, how we struggle with the issue of eating certain foods, and then we judge, like in that judgment. And then from my experience, I judge the food I eat, and then I go and eat more and more of it as a self-soothing response. And it's really important that I love that you just say it's about, I'm choosing to put this in my body. I'm choosing to do that. It's like everything is a choice. Everything in life really is a choice. We choose and navigate it. And it makes me think of, there's a song, you can either be, who is it? I can't remember who it is. You can make a choice of going like this, or you can make a choice of going like that. It's got Christopher Walken in the clip.
Yeah.
And you're making me think of that. It's
Yeah.
like you choose to go this or this. Yeah.
Boy? No. What's his name? Yeah, I know the film clip. I just can't think of his name. He's a quirky dude. Yeah,
but I can see you dancing through life, because that's why I see your success is you're dancing with life. Life is a dance. It really is a dance, and when you own that, it's powerful. It absolutely is powerful. You get to dance and navigate it the way, and it's really refreshing to see somebody like yourself who is honest in how they approach life, and it's a dance, and it gives permission to all of us to dance as well.
Nice one.
And on that note, I should let you go, because I've taken you over time. Yeah.
That's okay.
And I like I said, I'm really grateful we got to dance together.
Me too. Thank you.
I do appreciate it. And thank you for everybody that's watching this and danced alongside us as well. It's amazing. And now, if anybody wants to reach out to you, Ali May, how do they go about doing it?
Just through my personal Facebook page. That's the best way to do that. I love messages. I love connecting with people. I can't see if anyone's on or any comments, if there have been any. I will go back and have a look. But yeah, just through personal Facebook page.
Absolutely. And I just want a big shout out is that I didn't know who Ali May was until I met Rochelle, who introduced me to the educational platform. And then I got to meet you. And like I said, you need to embrace the things that you're afraid of, because I can't wait to go back and listen to this, because I really have got so many lessons to learn from you. And like I said, thank you for your time today, and thank you for making this vision possible. You know, 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, I was really struggling and I wanted to help other people. That's what got me out of my funk. And here you are helping other women too. And your vision's coming alive. And I can't wait to see what the world has for you, Ellie Mae.
Thank you, Amberly. And I just want to like let that land fully. Thank you. And I also want to honor you. The way that you show up in this world, your determination, your integrity, the woman that you are, how you speak your truth, what you're actually creating here with the series that you're running. I think for me, just watching you is so beautiful. So thank you for all you be. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for the woman that you are.
I have to let that, I love, see, I'm always learning from you. And that's probably a lesson for everyone else. We've got to let those things land. When people say wonderful things, I just keep going, but I've got to own them. And you're giving me permission to own that. So I hear my little girl in me saying, thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're so welcome, beauty. Thank you.
All right. Well, enjoy your day. And everybody else too, thank you for watching. And as always, you're a superstar, Ellie Mae. And everybody else is here too. And
Thanks,
we'll talk
Amberly.
soon.
Lots of love. Thank you, everyone. Lots of love.
Bye.
Bye.